It was a silent message that flew about the village to get ready. All the Dana, the real people, were working quickly and silently. Hands flew, and feet had the energy of a wolf pack on a moose hunt. Urgent and tireless. I was very young, only about 2 years old. The people would glance up towards the Catholic mission furtively, then continue working. They took our tongue, our language. It had begun to become dark and foreboding. There was a heavy snow falling now, the kind that muffles sounds, and soon one would not be able to see too well. One could choke on it if one went too fast. Then all went silent. We were ready. We napped among the reindeer skins, close to the door. There was Eva, Manny and me. I was the baby then. Suddenly Mom was saying, "Get ready, we're going."
I could see the dogs pulling the travel sled as we made our way across the mighty Yukon River. Where were we going? Were we running away? We were not alone. Teams of the Dana were following. I couldn't see them all. The snow was blowing sideways now. It was very strange. Dad was the only one who would leave in the winter. He and the other men would take their teams to go hunting and trapping. But they would go in separate directions, and the dogs were always barking so we would know when anyone was coming or going. But that was always in the daytime, not at night. The only travel at night was during an emergency, or if someone in your family died, out of the village. Now the dogs were quiet, and the wind was down when we got to the other side. You could almost touch the beauty of the land.
I heard Dad say, "Whoa!" Instantly, we were there. The dogs dropped straight down, no barking. We were many and silent. And the whole lot were walking downstairs into the ground. There was a hole in the ground. It had a cover. I tightened my grip on Mom's hand. "I won't go in there. Are we getting buried? But we're not dead. Are we, Mom?" Usually she picks me up. "Go," she said. So I went down step by step, as quick as I could. We were in the ground in a huge room, dimly lit by a large fire pit. There were tan skins, and there was seal, and all sorts of different food covered up there. The smoke was going straight up into the ceiling. There was an opening. The cover of the stairs had been partly replaced, causing a better draft of smoke upward. The mothers had brought the reindeer skins, and they lined the wall on the ground and sat there. Us kids were in front by lines. There was a step of earth above the women, and that's where the men, both old and young, sat. Shadows were everywhere. I was wide awake, and no one was talking. Then the drumming started. We all looked at each other. Young men in masks of all sorts were coming into the light. There was the crow, who always showed up at the fish camp. You know, the fall camp. When we're berry picking. He was calling now. Then the owl. It seemed very threatening at first. The drum, the dancers, very new clothes. Us kids never even knew there were drums. We didn't know the Dana could dance. There were stories about these drums and the dances, which only the Dana people knew, because that was our way. We never talk. We're always silent and we work, and we always look and listen. The owl landed in her nest and was cleaning it, while the owlets stood aside, and we were watching. There was a line of women dancers by this time around the back, but all they do is stand there in their new parkies, with a sling for the babies. It's a baby strap. And they hold it in each hand in front. They bend at the knees just a little, up and down, and move the baby strap sideways, side to side. This shows the baby. Suddenly, the owl flew up and looked away, very far, to see if it's time to hunt. The crow comes walking up step by step and jumps quickly into the owl's nest. There, he grabs a shiny thing, maybe a piece of bright ribbon, and quickly flies off. He goes to his nest and piles it in there. Sometimes it smells bad, and it gets too full and crashes to the ground. It's very messy. Kind of like a junkyard. But he's clacking and calling and bragging loudly now. The little owl flies in and bumps Crow's wing, and he crashes down. He grumbles as she flies off into the night. The men are loudly drumming as the crow flies off, learning his lesson for the moment. He shakes his feathers and preening them out, he flies. The voice of the Doyan chief comes. He explains, the crow is always a thief and steals and has a dumpy nest. He never cleans. That's why his color is black. He's sneaky and he brags very loud. That's not like the Dana. We watch and listen and learn. We see the little owl. She keeps her nest clean and her children clean. She shows them how, and then they know how to live healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's why she can see well at night. The crow does mischief, so he can't see at night. You can hear her now. She tells the crow, who's laughing now, and he grumbles to himself. That's why they teach us the way to live. There were other dances and endless stories until everyone danced their stories out. Then we feasted. All the most healthy food that our ground would give us. This, our land, fed us well. This is why we take our name, Dinaina, the real people. We keep our land clean, and she takes care of that. And the fish and the creatures, well, they teach us well too. We are from her seasons. Suddenly, we got ready, and we left just as quickly as we came. We cried a little because this would surely be our last meeting with the Dana, the real people inside our ground, our land. The Kazheem, inside the earth. The chiefs, the Doyan, hugged us quickly and shook our hands. We had to hurry. The dogs were jumping to go. We put the reindeer skins inside the sled again, and we were off. The willows, frozen, whipped the sled as we flew by, like they knew we wouldn't come and dance with them in the night ever again. While we were inside dancing and feasting, the wind had raised its fury, raging and howling, and kept us hidden from the ears of those who thought us strange. And the mighty Yukon, who brought us fish of every sort, had frozen stiffer still as we flew over her rushing waters beneath. And that had worked up the wind. The snow was driven over her back, so there was no deep drifting, and we rested in the skins of reindeer, warm and cozy, flying home, because we could see with the eyes of our team. They were part wolf. The wind had calmed, but the snowflakes were great and feathery, like the snowy owl's feathers, and they would cover our tracks for the last time. We tasted the flakes, so beautiful, and felt clean. For we had learned a great lesson, how and why we were here. The Dana, the real people. It was still our land. Even the air seemed cleaner. We could dimly see the lights of the mission, and we were silent. But we were smiling, and it seemed like we might be very lazy to them, but they didn't know us. and we were all snowed in by morning.